The sun had long set over the coastal town of Ridgeport, leaving behind a thin line of orange on the horizon that glimmered over the restless sea. A year had passed since that night, the night they all tried to forget. But secrets never stayed buried forever, especially in a town where the ocean washed everything back ashore eventually. The summer holidays had just begun when Emily Carver stepped off the bus, suitcase in hand, returning home after her first year of college. She had hoped coming back would feel comforting, familiar, grounding, but instead, as she stared down Main Street, she felt a heaviness settle in her chest. Her phone buzzed. "A new message. I know what you did last summer." Emily froze. Her breath hitched as her eyes scanned the street, half expecting someone to be watching her. But the sidewalks were empty, the salty wind chilling her spine. She swallowed hard. She had promised herself never to think about it again, but someone remembered, someone knew. She immediately called the person she trusted most. Ryan, her boyfriend. He answered quickly. "Em? You okay? Ryan." "I got a message." He paused, tense. "What kind of message?" Emily whispered the words. It said, "I know what you did last summer." Ryan didn't speak for a few seconds. Then he said quietly, "We need to meet now." They met near the old lighthouse, the place that once symbolized peace and beauty, but now only triggered memories of fear. Soon the other two arrived. Liam, whose jokes couldn't hide his anxiety, Sophie. The soft-spoken one who still jumped at every loud sound. They stood in a circle. Just like they did last year, except now the guilt hung heavier between them. "Who else did you tell?" Liam asked Emily. "No one." Emily snapped. "Why would I?" Ryan rubbed his temples. "Maybe it's a prank." "Someone just messing with us," Sophie disagreed. "No one else knows. No one knows what happened that night except us." The beach felt colder. The waves crashed louder. Emily closed her eyes. She could still see it, a dark road. The blinding headlights, the sudden scream. The thud. They had hit a man, a stranger, and out of fear, fear of losing their futures, fear of prison, they had made the worst decision of their lives. They left him, thinking he was dead, and they swore never to speak of it again. But someone knew. The next morning, Emily found a white envelope taped to her door. Inside was a photograph. The road, the night, their car, with its front dent clearly visible, and in red marker, "Just beginning." Her hands trembled. She immediately showed it to the group when they met again. "This is bad," Sophie whispered, her voice cracking. "Who took this picture?" "We were alone." Ryan tried to stay calm. "We need to figure out who the guy was." Maybe he survived." Emily shook her head. "We checked for a pulse. There wasn't one." Liam's voice was barely a whisper. "What if someone else was watching us that night?" The idea made Emily shiver. Someone had been in the shadows. Someone had followed them. Someone had waited a whole year. 2 days later, Liam didn't show up at the meeting spot. He didn't answer calls either. Worried, the others rushed to his house. They found his front door slightly open. Emily pushed it gently. Inside, the living room had been trashed. Broken picture frames, overturned chairs, shattered glass, and on the wall, sprayed in red paint, Sophie let out a sob. Ryan ran upstairs and found Liam in his room, unconscious but alive. "He's breathing," Ryan said. "Someone attacked him." Emily's heart hammered. "We need to tell the police." But Liam, still shaken, grabbed her wrist weakly. "No. If we tell them, they'll find out about last summer." Their secret was a chain around their necks, unstoppable, unbreakable, pulling them deeper into danger. Sophie did what they should have done a year ago. She researched the missing persons case for that night. She finally found something. A man named Daniel Harper, a 38-year-old fisherman, disappeared the same night they hit someone. No body was ever found. His family still posted missing flyers every month. Emily felt sick. His family, they deserve to know what happened. Ryan disagreed. If he's dead, admitting it now destroys our lives. If he's alive, he might be the one threatening us. But Sophie shook her head. Daniel had an older brother, Mark Harper. He used to work as a private security officer. They exchanged fearful looks, a man with skills, a man with motivation. Man with a reason to want revenge. The threats escalated. Emily received a voicemail of her own scream from last year. Ryan found his tires slashed. Sophie's dog went missing, only to return with a note tied to its collar: confess or pay. Fear turned to paranoia. Emily felt watched everywhere, in the grocery store, the beach, even her own bedroom window at night. Then, one evening, she heard footsteps outside her house, heavy, deliberate. She froze. "Who's there?" she whispered. No answer, just breathing. She locked herself in her room and called Ryan. He arrived within minutes, but by then, the yard was empty. But in the grass, he found a footprint, large, deep, fresh. Someone had been right outside Emily's window, watching. They decided to confront the stalker. Ryan suggested pretending to confess publicly, hoping to lure him out. They chose the Lighthouse, the place where it all began. Emily stood with a flashlight, her voice trembling as she read from a paper they prepared. Last summer, we were involved in an accident. We hit a man. We thought he was dead. We panicked. We made a terrible mistake. The wind howled around them. The sea raged below the cliffs. Then a voice echoed behind them. So you do remember. They spun around. A man stepped into the dim light, tall, rugged, with cold fury burning in his eyes. Mark Harper. Emily gasped. Ryan stepped in front of her defensively. Mark's voice was low. "You left my brother to die." "You didn't even call for help," Sophie cried. "We were scared. Everyone gets scared," Mark snapped. "But you four ran. You let him bleed alone on the ground. I found him hours later." Emily's heart sank. "So, he really died?" Mark nodded slowly. "Yes, and I've spent a year watching you. A year planning how to make you feel the fear he felt." He took a step forward. Emily whispered, "Please, we're sorry. We know it was wrong." "Sorry?" Mark's eyes darkened. "Sorry doesn't bring him back." He pulled something from his jacket, a knife. Ryan lunged at Mark, trying to knock the knife away. They stumbled, fighting dangerously close to the cliff's edge. Sophie screamed. Liam, still bruised, grabbed a piece of wood from the ground. Mark pushed Ryan down and raised the knife, but Liam struck him from behind. Mark staggered. Emily ran to help Ryan up. Mark regained balance and charged. Emily's feet slipped near the cliff. She screamed as she fell backward. Ryan caught her hand just in time. Mark approached them again, but Sophie stepped between them, shaking violently. "Stop. Please, enough. We know we ruined your life, but killing us won't bring him back." Mark hesitated, but only for a second. "That's not for you to decide." He moved forward, and suddenly the old wooden railing beneath him snapped due to his weight and decay. Mark slipped. For one moment, everything froze. Emily watched his eyes widen with shock and fear. Then he fell, down the rocky cliff, into the dark sea. The waves swallowed him instantly. Silence followed. Only the ocean roared. The police investigated the scene. The group told them the truth, finally. Not everything, not the whole story, but enough. Mark Harper was declared missing. No body found. The town eventually moved on. But Emily didn't. None of them did. Their lives changed forever. Every time Emily walked near the sea, she felt a chill. Every time she heard footsteps behind her, her heart raced. Because some nights, she dreamed of Mark's face before he fell, angry, not vengeful, just shocked and alive. Sometimes, she wondered if he survived, if he was waiting, watching, planning. Summer was ending again when she received a new message. "This isn't over." Her blood ran cold. She looked out at the dark horizon. Some secrets never stay buried. Some ghosts never recite, and someone still knew what they did last summer.